Hannah's in the outdoors, it looks like, judging from the lighting and the sunglasses.
Morning, Hannah.
There's the Wright
Good
family.
morning.
Good
We are
morning.
Morning. Good
Hey,
morning.
Good morning to the Wright family.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning.
Doing well. Enjoying this beautiful morning.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Sunday celebration at Downey Center for Spiritual Living. And we are going to kick off this morning with a sing along. So mute your mics and sing strong.
Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, you are beautiful just the way you are. Step into the love. You're illuminated by the glory of God's love. Step into the truth. From within, your abundance overflows. How love can change one life. One life can change the world. Step into the light. Step into the love. Step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light. Step into the love. Step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. I am the light of the world. You are the light of the world. We are the light of the world. So move with me, step with me, step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. I am the light of the world. You are the light of the world. We are the light of the world. So move with me, step with me, step into the light.
Well, good morning again, everyone. I hope you enjoyed singing. Welcome again to Downey Center for Spiritual Living. I'm delighted to have you here with us today. Welcome to our live streamers on Facebook and YouTube. We're also delighted to have you here with us today. And for those live streamers, feel free to say hello in the comments and interact with our folks that moderate those streams for us. I appreciate that. And we'd like to keep in that spiritual practice mode. So the first thing I want to visit, is just to remind ourselves of our vision and mission. And this is sort of our guiding light, if you will, for the good that this community does and the greater good that this community aspires to. So I'm going to read this to you first, and then I'm going to invite you to unmute your mics and we'll read it together. So I'm just going to read it to you first. By valuing and empowering all, we inspire a fulfilling and joyous life. Al valorar y potenciar todo, inspiramos una vida plena y alegre. So I invite you now to unmute and we will say our vision and mission together and just listen to your words coming into your ears as you say this. Here we go. By valuing and
And
empowering
empowering
all,
all,
we
we
inspire a
inspire a
fulfilling and
fulfilling and
joyous life.
joyous life.
Al
Al
valorar
valorar
y
y
Right.
potenciar
potenciar todo,
todo,
inspiramos
inspiramos
una
una
vida
vida plena
plena y
y
alegre.
alegre. Wow. Oh, that sounds so good to hear every Sunday. It's just a fantastic feeling that those words create and generate. And if anything came up for you, I invite you to, just deliver that response in the chat or in the comments section, because we're always resonating with some part of it, and like to just share that with each other, and that's part of this communal vision that propels our community. So it gives me the great honor and pleasure to introduce our practitioner of the day. That is Jan Hartman. She is a tremendous presence and a dedicated practitioner and demonstrator of the science of mind teaching. So I now turn this over to practitioner Jan Hartman.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm so blessed to be with you here today. And let's take this time to move into the spiritual practice of meditation. As we begin a new month of October, and the title and the theme for that month of Going Further Together, we can settle into the stillness together, and we can know that we are one in community, all divine, created in, as, and through the Beloved, and find ourselves filled with some love and some grace. We are secure in God's love, and know that it is the truth for everyone and everything. I am, you are, and all are, always and forever. And so, closing your eyes if you choose, y'all know exactly what to do to quiet yourself and be fully present, ready and willing to receive the gifts that the stillness has to offer you. So let's do that now, and let your breath slow, finding your rhythm, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in and out into this time of wonder. It is your time to commune, so settle in and allow yourself to sit within the Beloved. Never mind the time. I will guide you in, and I will welcome you out. The breath of God is breathing you. You're breathing in the breath of God. You know that all is well in this stillness. You know that all is well. And the love of God is also breathing you. You are breathing in the love of God, and you know that all is well here in the stillness. All is well. All is well. And now the joy of God is breathing you. You are breathing in the joy of God. And you know that all is well in the stillness. In joy, all is well. In the stillness, all is well. You are breathing deep, deep into the love of everyone, and all is well. You are breathing deeply into the love of everyone in the stillness, and all is well. And you can feel it now. You can know it now. All is well. And now, ever so gently, begin to collect the blessings that you have received in this time, slowly returning your awareness to your renewed self, your surroundings, refreshed. Relish in the rest of this wonderful service time together now. Relish it. And as you are once here again, hear my prayer. I am refreshed, trusting that I am unified with your source, trusting that I am unified with all source, the source, God as beloved source, and knowing to my depth that the divine is the creator of all always. I am, you are, all are, eternally connected with all that God has ever expressed, and it is all good and perfect. All are whole and complete. All are whole and complete. There is no place where God is not. Each unique expression of God is good and part of the essence of the life that God is. So I and you and all become the divine community. Reverend Kevin's message today brings us to the gratitude for our life here as God's good work. I give thanks. I give thanks for the love that pours from each of us, making a divine commitment to be inspired, ever desiring to offer ourselves to the world and to all parts of all things in the world, creating more peace, more joy, and more love. I surrender these words as I speak into the law and the love that is God. I know it's complete. I feel it complete, joyful, and so very, very good. And so it is, and now it is. Amen.
Well, thank you so much, Jan. Hmm. Apologize for the Zoom glitches. I'm not sure what they were. Uh, well, let's show Jan some love for that incredible meditation and invocation. Hmm. And I have just a couple of announcements for today. Just a reminder that Minute Miracles are available immediately after service, so you get some one-on-one time with one of our practitioners, and we'll utilize the breakout group function in Zoom so that you're in a private connection with them. And at the end of service during our fellowship time, will let us know if you want that particular offering from our ecclesiastical team, and we will set you up for that. And as always, there are sacred service opportunities. Being in sacred service, known as Seva in the Sangha, the divine community. And so reach out to any of us on the E team or the Leadership Council, or just email us or phone us if you feel called to serve our community in that way. And know that you're greatly appreciated. And I want to give thanks to all those who bring our gathering and our other communication and the operation of our community to you each week. So thanks again to our practitioner of the day, Jan Hartman. And well, thanks to me. No, I'm just kidding. But I do appreciate serving. This is a labor of love for me. And so I do appreciate the opportunity to share with you from time to time and to be of service. And I want to thank our live stream moderators looking after our YouTube and Facebook live streamers. And thanks to those Facebook and live streamers for joining us. Thanks to our Leadership Council for working through some really challenging times for our community. They're doing an awesome job, and I so deeply and greatly appreciate them. And to our music team, who continues to be creative and hold us in the consciousness of song and music, and elevating, at least for me, but I think for you too, the intensity of this experience, the transformation happening through this gathering. And thanks to all of you for joining us here on Zoom. Greatly appreciate that and appreciate you. And yet another spiritual practice. This one we engage in more directly, and we call this giving as a spiritual practice. And the ways that you can donate, the ways that you can give, you can send your gift to our new address, which is 3350 East 7th Street, Box 529. And it happens to be in Long Beach, 90804. You can still use your bill pay service, and you can use the donate link that is in the chat and on the emails and on the website. And there you can use a credit or debit card. And of course, this becomes a spiritual practice based on the consciousness with which you give. And therefore, if you, in the process of or in preparation of giving, you just think of the quality, the goodness that giving brings up in your life, reveals or circulates more of that good. So it might be a feeling of just being in that flow. It might be a feeling of generosity. It might be a feeling of abundance. It might be a feeling of a plenitude. And with that in mind, let's hold our hands over our hearts. And you can unmute here if you want. I'd like to hear the chorus of all voices. We say this simultaneously in English and in Spanish. I'm going to choose to say it in English, but if Spanish is more comfortable for you or more effective or powerful for you, say in Spanish. So here we go. Abundance flows in my life. I am blessed with prosperity. I give with generosity. Yes. I tithe on faith, belief, and with a consciousness of love. My gift is of divine circulation through me that now benefits and grows our spiritual community and beyond. And now it is. So I invite you to just open your hearts and minds and mute your mics and sing along with Walking in the Spirit.
I'm walking in the Spirit. Walking in the Spirit. Walking in the Spirit. The Spirit of one God. Loving in the Spirit. Loving in the Spirit. Loving in the Spirit. The Spirit of one God. Moving in the Spirit.
Anyway, it helps me to take a little pause after that song. It is powerful and moving, as always. Welcome again to Downey Center for Spiritual Living. And I'm Reverend Kevin. I'm bringing you the message today. And I am batting leadoff, as we would say at this time of year when a lot of interest turns to baseball. I like the subject of beloved community, and it's one of the growing edges of Centers for Spiritual Living of the Science of Mind and Spirit. You know, Science of Mind and Spirit is sort of a provable metaphysical science that extends to the personal and to the dyad, to another person, and that function in the science of mind is the practitioner or the spiritual counselor. Now, Centers for Spiritual Living are in a constant process of evolving and growing. And in this case, we're developing the principles and practices of community. So we're deliberately extending the science of mind teaching to areas which really Ernest Holmes seeded in his promotion of this teaching and into communities. Remember that when Ernest began this process, it was a companion to other faith traditions. He didn't expect it to be something that would stand alone as a movement or a faith tradition. Now, it naturally evolved into that, and we're blessed, I'm blessed, I think that it did, because that was the way that I discovered the science of mind. Now, the principles and practices, at least the principles of this community, derive from what is called the beloved community. And this was first devised by the American philosopher named Josiah Royce. And many in Southern California know of the famous Royce Hall at UCLA. And that hall was named after Josiah Royce. So that's an important bridge to the philosophical and secular world. Now, those principles of the divine community were largely brought to life through the U.S. Civil Rights Movement. We often heard Howard Thurman and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. refer to building the divine community. So today, my intention is to share some principles, some within our community, some borrowed from the beloved community, and how that's going to translate into a spiritual practice for you and within any group that you're a part of. Now, as I often say, the reason we're here today, the reason we're doing most anything along these lines of personal development is to feel better. We do spiritual practices to feel better. And our reason for practicing the divine beloved community is to feel better in and through that community, and thereby help others feel better in and through community. So there is a mutuality, a mutual benefit in this type of spiritual practice. And for the Science of Mind and Spirit, it is to extend those practices beyond that dyad, beyond that practitioner. And that might apply to a primary relationship, a family, a group, a tribe, a community, that to further to circulate and connect all those facets of the one mind, the one love, of which you and I are an extension. So that is all God, whether it's me personally in my own little world, or whether it's me with another, or me with my family, or me with my community gathered here today. It is to live more good, to live more God. And we are all living in that one mind and one love. So the first thing that comes up, because I mentioned this becomes spiritual practice, are these kind of spiritual practices. There are daily spiritual practices. They are largely personal, but we also have communal versions of all of these, probably except for something like study or journaling. But these are things that I and folks do every day, even just for a little bit. Sometimes some practices getting more attention and more time than others. But those are practices of meditation, of affirmation, treatment, or affirmative prayer. The practice of doing some spiritual study or reading, the practice of journaling, and the practice of visioning, daily, largely personal. Now we switch to the ones that are less frequent. And those are sometimes weekly or monthly, but they arise out of that relationship. They arise out of that group context, right? So being of sacred service, yes, you can be in sacred service to yourself or to others, but more likely you're being in sacred service to a larger group. Spiritual counseling is you and one other with the practitioner or the spiritual counselor. Giving as a spiritual practice, that is you giving to someone or something. And the mystical, ethereal one that I'm attacking today or talking about today is beloved community. Now, the qualities, just looking at the practice of beloved community, the qualities that stand out for me: generosity, harmony, balance, feeling a connection, being at peace, having a safe environment in which to be your true self, having some form of compassion. And though these communal practices, include or maybe require others to be of the same mind or the same heart, Reverend Sunshine always refers to us being a love-centered community versus, all a heart-centered community versus all of the same thinking. But it intensifies that practice when there are more people engaged in the same sort of practice. So us being gathered here today is kind of spiritually supercharged because we're all here, with similar intentions. We're all here with that intention to feel better, however that's working out for us today. But we are mutually sharing that intention for each other as we gather in these types of communities. And there's still, a personal part of this is that, you have to set that intention, prepare your consciousness, and make the conscious choice that whatever you're participating in can and is a high spiritual practice. And that is open to all the associated, that practice, that practice that is community, divine community is the term being coined here today, that has with it all that healing and growth opportunity that any other high spiritual practice offers. Now, so that's sort of in the ethereal realm, the realm of spiritual practice, right? And like pretty much all material beings, the viability of that material being beyond birth depends on at least one other adult being. In the case of a human baby, that one entity depends on a literal village, starting with the nuclear family. Your life, material and ethereally, functions around relationship in that case. Without those relationships, without those people, you would wither and die. With those people and those beings, those relationships, you thrive. Now, most know the two most important people, those who channeled you into this plane of the current rendition of your local organizing principle, and that is your two biological parents. Some of you know your 4 grandparents. Some of you know some of your 8 great-grandparents, right? Some of you might even know of one of your 16 great-great-grandparents, right? So after just, a lifetime, 80 to 100 Earth orbits, your material being is based on 16 people that are directly in line from whom your biological life descends and depends. Learning about family trees is very popular. There are a lot of services. There's genetic technology that folks can trace their material roots back 10 or more generations. And that means that 1,024 people you directly descend and depend on for your material being, that organizing principle you call your body temple, as it exists today. So just consider the generations that made your life after birth possible, the folks who parented you, who may not have been your biological progenitors, right? Your real parents versus your biological parents. Sometimes they're not the same people. Perhaps your aunts, your uncles, your siblings, your cousins. All of these people have contributed to the advance of your body and therefore your soul. And their contribution was partly biological, but fully metaphysical. For you are the one life ongoing, as they are the one life ongoing. Now, the natural circulation and connection that results in promoting materiality is just but a glimpse of what is occurring in the ethereal. The essence of the center of who you are, the essence of the significant other, the family, the community, literally all it is the love and light of living spirit. You are the love and light of living spirit. Your parents are the love and light of living spirit. Your grandparents are the love and light of living spirit. Your brothers and sisters, your siblings are the love and light of living spirit. You get the idea. So consider who and what you be, ethereally, spiritually, is based on this ever-changing organizing principle that exists right now in this frequency and phase and amplitude. That is in existence right now because of others who have fostered that organizing principle along the way. So this human phase of your soul's journey is only happening due to others living and evolving the same divine organizing principle. So that's the important piece of this, and it's something that Ernest planted the seeds for, and now we are nurturing that seed. So now's a good time to introduce the new set of themes for October. Our annual theme is Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. As Jan mentioned in her spiritual practice, our theme for October is Going Further Together. And we're going to hear about a number of different meanings to that throughout the month of October. And today we're talking about a term that was coined, I think, by Reverend Kathleen. Well, Reverend Kathleen Beasley prepared our material for today, and she's a spiritual director at Central Florida Center for Spiritual Living. So just walking us through this, the evolutionary vision part, the divine high idea for the divine community is one global family. Now that might manifest and demonstrate as a respect, an honor, an appreciation of the interconnectedness and interdependency of all life. The timeless wisdom comes from the we believe statements from the science of mind. So we believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. And of course, where often discord appears in one's life is around some of those relationships where the life lessons are being learned. The other one is we believe in the unity of all life and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. So the God in me is the same as the God in you, is the same God in this community, in this gathering. It's all one life, one God, and it's the same within as without. Now, the context of going further together, the October monthly theme, consider that the communities that have brought you here, the families, the schools, the churches, the professional communities, the artistic communities, the athletic communities, on and on and on it goes. The Science of Mind and Spirit is open at the top. So in addition to being a kind of complete faith tradition, it's a community all of its own. And it also happens to work and play well with other faith traditions. The context for today's message is the divine community. And Dr. Martin Luther King spoke often of the beloved community, and that is a community, a world in which all people share the wealth of the earth, the wealth of nature, and the wealth of man, that any violation is compassionately recognized in order to be healed. It is a world in which there is collaboration and cooperation as the norm. It is a world in which there is a fluidity between roles within the community. At times you are led, and at times you lead. And there is a fluid flow between those kinds of roles. And there's a dedication to the common good in order for each person being within that community and the community itself to thrive. So there's a dedication to the common good that at times might appear to be more important than the individual good. It's really both. It's not either or. That's the true Science of Mind perspective on this. So there are a couple of the points that I want to offer up here. First of all, about community in general, but in specific to the divine community. We've heard this phrase, be in it, but not of it, right? And it's an acceptable mind game, meaning, hey, I'm aware of my surroundings, but I may not identify with it. I may not be a conscious supporter of it, but I'm aware of being in relationship to other beings or other things. And so that is a process of honoring in one another the confidence and the courage to release all that no longer supports your journey or the community's journey. Consider that the divine community as another complete spiritual being. If two people in a primary relationship, there is person A and person B, or person A and person 1. And then between them, there is sort of another kind of metaphysical entity, which is the relationship that they are contributing and deriving from. So the divine community then is another complete spiritual being. Its manifestation and derives from the one divine organizing principle. And like all spiritual beings within and surrounding the divine community, every necessary resource for spiritual healing, for growth and revelation of more good, more God is present in that community. So Ernest Holmes says, love is the only final security in the universe. Love is the greatest healing power in the universe, and the only thing that binds people together in a community of spirit. So divine community is an almost alchemic, when it's working well and it's really zinging. It is an alchemical reaction that reminds you who and what you are capable of being and becoming. It's urging you forward. It's drawing you to that edge of your comfort zone in order for you to have more love and light and peace and joy and health and well-being in your life. This divine community at times has a heavenliness, a rightness with the world, we will call it, and the divine community is with you anytime and anywhere you consciously choose it, engage it, immerse, and you're doing so in something that is co-creative and collaborative. So you just set that intention wherever you are to be in divine community, whether it's the grocery store or the bank or your job or your home or wherever. If you set that intention, all of those resources are available to you, and you open the door for something that is collaborative and co-creative. Ernest Holmes also said, compassion and caring are the ties that bind us together in mutual understanding and in the unified attempt to uncover the divinity in each other. Could there be a more clear seed planted for the divine community than this quote from Ernest Holmes? So the beloved community with good intentions at times prefers the many over the one. And in those instances, shared connections are the better choice to express and experience and circulate more God qualities. Remember, beloved community is fluid, and at times you consciously choose to set aside your individualism for the sake of the greater good. You understand or you recognize, or something intuits within you that the godness, the goodness is better lived in the communal us. And then Brene Brown offers up this, which I think is really powerful and really true. She says, a deep sense of love and belonging is an irreducible need of all people. You're biologically, cognitively, physically, and spiritually wired to love, to be loved, and to belong. So belonging is a sort of paradox, especially in the science of mind context, where this is, largely a teaching of personal personal spiritual empowerment. But what really is called for is a quality of balance, and remember that balance is a God quality. From your birth, your very, very biological survival relies on belonging. Your biological being is a fairly high priority in many other people's lives long before you were able to ask for it. Yet folks feel they are on a lifelong path of individuation, carving out their expression, their experience as they move through this phase of their soul's journey. So depending on the culture in which one lives, the path to individuation is sometimes out of balance with the communal, and in some cases that in other cultures, the opposite is true, where there is more emphasis given to the communal than the personal. And so to strike that balance, one must first intend to balance community with individuality. And therefore, there is a sorting process. There is a conscious awareness on your part, my part, to choose carefully what communities I immerse myself in, and also to what degree I'm immersing that community to be in balance with where I am on my personal journey. So when you're feeling that personal part, you hopefully are all in for communing with that universal intelligence. However that might appear, whether it's in your personal life, that appearance of individuality, or in your communal life, where again, you're pitching into the common good, yet there's a mutual benefit where you're deriving a common good by your participation in that community. Now, truly, you're never on your own because you are always communing and co-creating with living spirit, and that living spirit lives all life. You know, Thich Nhat Hanh put it this way: the larger your beloved community, the more you can accomplish in the world. The larger your beloved community, the more you can accomplish in the world. And so I leave you today with an affirmation. I practice divine love wherever I am. I practice divine love wherever I am. So I encourage you to set these intentions, that you practice divine community when you consciously deepen your connections with one another, that you practice divine community when you stretch yourself to further justice, peace, and compassion, that you practice divine community when your love and compassion knows no bounds, that you practice divine community when you mindfully bond to the heart and soul of all life, that you practice divine community when you companion with each other through the joys and sorrows of life, that you practice divine community when you welcome each other home. Thank you so much. Peace and blessings to all of you.
Thank
Well,
you, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin.
oh, you're welcome, Jen. Thank you all. We have the honor and pleasure of recognizing our October birthdays today. Whoops, don't want to do that yet. So if you want to unmute yourselves and or put in the chat if you know of anyone with an October birthday we want to include in celebrating today. I'll start with my good friend Faye, who has a birthday on October 5th, just coming up in a couple of days. And I'll open the grid back up, so if you want to unmute and let us know about a birthday.
My sister Jackie is October 21st.
October 21st for Jackie. And anyone else?
My godson Tom is the 27th.
Fantastic. Anyone else know or have an October birthday they want to share with us?
Wow.
Yeah. So we will,
Hey.
we sing happy birthday, and in place of the person's name, we say, we love you. And that'll be coming up right now. I don't think I have to blow out the lyrics. You know the words. Did it play?
No.
It didn't play?
No.
All right, let me try again. I see what happened. Hang on, I see what happened. Is it playing now?
No.
No. Gosh.
We're still waiting to be happy.
Okay.
Let me try this one more time. All right. Stand by. I got a backup.
You know, if we all unmute, we could just sing it. You know,
I
like
can
we
do it.
standing around a cake, right?
Hang on. I've got the old reliable here. I think will work.
All right.
So embarrassed.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, we love you. Happy birthday to you.
Yay.
I hope it was worth it. I think it was. Well, this is our time for fellowship. Thank you all for being here today. Appreciate you. I'm going to say goodbye to our live streamers on Facebook and YouTube. So everybody say goodbye. And we will send them